In previous video, we was creating maps that we're going to use inside the view to create our shapes and material distribution. If you don't have it, Photoshop or other things, you can download it, those files from bonus pack if you purchase this tutorial. So they will be inside the bonus pack, so you can reuse them there. If not, you can recreate them in a GIMP application or any other ones. They're not very special. It's just general how to use the shapes and coloring. So right now we're inside the view, and first what I want to do is to create a terrain, and I'm going to create a simple high field terrain. Okay, this shape of the terrain will need to go inside our object properties, size, and you can notice we have it 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. So we can change the shapes and size. For example, I think let's go with the 300 meters on this. And if we type 300, it's already kind of adjust for us. We can go ahead and change if we need it, but I think it will be about right size for what we want to do. Next, I'm going to edit object for our terrain. This will bring us in terrain editor inside the view. Few modifications before we start importing our shape. It is increase our resolution of the terrain. And in previous videos, we was using 1024 by 1024. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to click twice to bring my resolution 1024 by 1024. When you work with a high field terrain, you want match resolution of your terrain with a pixel resolution on the map. You don't want to go above this because it's no point. You will have it pixel information that you provide with import image won't be enough for the terrain. You can go lower. It's depend on the resources in your machine, so that won't be affected. You will lose some of the resolution, but it won't be that critical if you're going above. So my recommendation for you, try to match resolution of the terrain with the resolution of image you're going to import. Next, I'm going to disable zero edges. So you just provide for me terrain that I want to use it. And now we're going inside the picture. So if you go click on a picture, right here we have an import terrain data. That's what we want to do, and we're going to click on load our terrain data. Okay, that will bring our navigator, and I want to navigate, browse manually to the place where our images is located. So, and I'm going to navigate to the folder where we have, and you remember we have a shape and sharp shape. So I'm just go select the shape, click OK. And you can see right here we have our terrain. We still have it, even we add a little bit softer edge, it still be sharp. And actually it's what I want to probably leave like this for now. Okay, notice what's happening. I can actually blend between my terrain that generated based on our graphs. I can modify this, or I can 100% going towards a shape what I have. And I'm going to use the 100% shape that I created. So we'll go ahead right here and click OK. Notice we will have some bending issues, and this is mostly because as we save it, our image resolution on the image and other effect, but this is what sometimes happening with a gradient. And I think it's the reason I save as 8-bit, so it was this. We need save if 16-bit, we'll remove some of those gradients that we have. But you know what, because what I was trying to do, I will just leave it here with the bending. So actually, as a games, it's maybe actually look very good. Again, if you don't like it, but you have this issues, you can always go to inside the effect, and you have right here erosion diffuse. By clicking a few times on this, you'll notice it is smooth out. You can see right now how our map already smooth. So if you have this problem, we can go inside and even smooth the image that we imported. So right here, even I like the steps, like for the cartoonish, maybe like Minecraft look, you can do this way. But with, again, if you want it, let's add a little bit more smoothness, and we'll just remove some of those sharpness edges. Okay, when you like how it's look, let's go ahead and click OK. And this is our general shape. Let's take my main camera, move way above so we can look down on our island. Kind of like this. Okay, so right here we imported general shapes, and remember we have it a little bit down, small hills and other adjustments. Before proceed, what I want to do is double time click or open properties for main camera, and I want just disable after exposure. Let's go click OK. In this case, I just don't like how camera try to figure out exposure. For me, it's have a harder time to work with the lighting, so it's the reason why I like to disable that. Okay, next we want to start work on after terrain shape. We can start work on some materials that we're going to put on our terrain. And if you remember, we created all those different types. First, before we add any terrain, any materials, let's create our base layout. And for this, I'm just going inside the terrains, click on our terrain, going to open load materials properties, and from library of materials, we're going to select. So let's go click on landscape, and right here will be very good base. Actually, Vue come with very nice preset materials, so we can use it. Couple ones we have it grass, which very nice base. We also have the vegetation orange rocks, so several of them can work, and it's up to your what you like to do. So for example, if you like the green grass, may look nice. Personally, I think the grass will have it a very nice cover overall, and you can see it's base cover. If it's not enough, you can always go to a little bit more vegetation cover. So that will create a little bit more this way. You know what? Let's go actually preview, and I want to go and render to screen 800. So we'll just go preview the image we have. So I'll go click render. And you know what? This is look nice. I'm just looking on the noise, but maybe it's a little bit too noisy. So let's go back, and we'll just select the grass. Okay, also let's open our material editor. And in material editor, you notice we have it scale 0. So I just want scale 1 to put for now. Okay, also we'll go on the highlights. And you know what? Let's just make the highlights like nothing, 0. So it will be a little bit better this way. Our color, I think it's a little bit too pale. So overall colors will bring saturation higher and darker, so we just create a little bit more greenish, and maybe now it's a little bit too much cartoonishy kind of greenish. So let's go try to bring less cartoonishy. So I think that may work, but remember this is our base green, so you can work around those colors that you prefer. Again, in some cases, if you want, we can go click and replacing different also materials you can find. And in some cases, I have it nice personal materials. And maybe I should put them out sometime. It's kind of like a grass used map, so I like to use those ones. But again, let's go see what we have. Yeah, I think we'll just go back to what we have and just play with this one a little bit more. Maybe, you know, make it darker. Let's saturate it. We have too much green. You know what? Maybe instead this, let's go try to make our own. So we'll go to use natural grain. We'll reset colors. And we'll use the first color. Let's go just create green. And that's what's happening. Sometimes you kind of start playing around and you find out that maybe not necessarily work for you, so we'll just go make by our own natural grain. Okay, so I think that will work a little bit better. As a bump map, maybe a little bit too high, so let's go put it 0.2. Just make it a little bit smoother for our area. This is one layer, and you know what? Let's add some little bit more patching on the grass. We'll go create a new layer. Let's go call this grass patches. Okay, and with grass patches I want to go in color, and we'll go same natural grain. Only grass patches, we'll go a little bit more on saturation, maybe around here. Okay, let's go highlights. We don't need those highlights. In alpha, we'll just double tap left click on this, so we'll open library of all functions, and we can go search to some of them. And you know what, on a fractal, maybe this one, asteroid, will work. So just add a little bit patching to our area. Again, we'll just one on this one, be sure we're all on the one. I just add a little bit coloring, I think different. You know what, let's go to add a little bit yellowish maybe. Okay, alpha production, again we have, let's edit filter. And mostly I'm adding filter right now because I want to add a little bit more contrast to some areas. Okay, let's go click OK. We'll take our camera, and you know what, let's just come a little bit closer. Render. There you go. So we have some weird patching. So I don't know if that will work, but not sure about those patching ones. Let's go back, edit. We'll go our grass patch, our layers, and you can see because contrast how it's created. Let's go ahead and maybe just open one. I think that one will work a little bit better. Okay, at this we have our distribution, a basic going around. So now we want to do it is apply distribution of the materials what we have before. You remember what we created. And we can start with a liberate or create a bank for the grass, just populate over all. We can also create sand bank. So let's go ahead and actually start with the sand. For this, we'll go create a new layer. Okay, this layer we want to be sure it is set object parametric because it will be reference map of the sand we created. So as in the colors, can create natural grain, and for the sand we'll just go create yellowish reddish one grain, and maybe you know what, a little bit more desaturated another, so just kind of sandy look a little bit. Don't think we needed bumps, but what we do need is take highlights, bring them down, and inside the alpha now we need to modify. So we want to go and use it map it picture for this. So let's go ahead and navigate to our folder, and right here we'll just select the sand. Let's go ahead, click OK. Notice it is on a side. So if this happened, which is kind of very nice, we can always click on invert, and now we have our sand back in properly area. Okay, well, let's go to rename this sand. There you go. Actually, I do need to erase that stuff first. Okay, so we have our sand area selected. Let's go also put it those two areas for our paint for our grass right on those areas. So we'll go greens actually. So we'll go create a new layer. Let's go call it greens. Okay, and the same, we'll go color, natural grain, and we'll go select way over kind of green on that one. You know what, maybe even more obvious, it's not real grass, almost kind of, you know. Same, let's take highlights, not all the way, but a little bit more dual, alpha, switch to the mapped pictures, go navigate and take our greens. And you'll notice it does not look properly. The reason why, because we need to say world object parametric. So in this case, it will place them in right areas. And you can see right here, we have those two weird greens. So let's leave them there for now. Next, we want to actually add plants, if you remember, trees around this area. But notice what also happened. We forgot to inverse. So right here, there you go. So now it's look more right. We have the sand, we have those two greens. If they're too much for us, remember you can always use it alpha blend to take a little bit down intensity. So we can blend them. But we purposely created very sharp edges, so they should be very, very sharp. Okay, let's go ahead, click OK. And one thing, just remind you, remember always save your work as you're going along. In this case, you can always revert, or for example, if something happened, you have your file saved. Okay, we can go closer, look a little bit down, and let's click render. So overall, right there, we have our green area. We can, of course, play a little bit more to add some other stuff. Maybe we will, but not at this second. Okay. That is all look nice. Let's go, let's add some maybe of the grass and maybe add positioning some plants. So we'll do few ways actually I want to do this. I want to show you. The one as a terrain, we'll use plants tree distribution. So let's go open our material editor and we'll create a new layer. Let's go call it trees. And we'll go convert from the simple materials to ecosystem and particles. So we'll go use it plants. Now we're ready to add items. So we'll go add plants. And as we add plants, we have a different trees. And depend on what collection you have it, what version, you may have a different type of the plants. I'm just going to use it a basic what we have it. And I will use it just alder. And usually when I do, I try to use more than one different plant. It just make kind of look nice when it's mixed with colors or maybe other elements. So we'll go add another plant. And you know what? We have a tree. Okay, let's use it maybe ash. I don't know, that one may be a little bit too big. So we'll see when we get closer to that how it will look. And we'll have it pine. There you go. So we'll use all possible plants we can use there. Okay, we created this one. The problem is right now, if we're going in populate, you'll notice it is populating all over the place. It's not what I want. I want to use my maps. So to use the maps, we need a couple things. One, remember, we need to switch to object parametric because we will be reference image. And then next, we need to go inside density and enable variable density. So right here where we're going to create our magic. For this, we need also now go right click and let's go to edit function. For some people that can be a little bit scary, but we'll try to navigate as much as easier as we can to do here. Okay, you notice right here our density is going with color and everything. There's our density node. And what is meaning node? It is like input output. It's all what we need to do to take these lines and connect between different areas. So well, what we needed to add, it is our texture map. And if you notice right here, we have projected texture map. So we'll go up, double time click to create this node. So this is our input for the image. Next, similar to what we did before, click on load and we'll go to standard map. We'll go navigate and we'll go to set our plants map, click OK. So right now we preloaded. All what we need to do is a drag and connect our project to our density. Let's switch to the tab for materials. Let's click populate now and see what's happening. And notice our plants is populated in an area that is specified by the image. With a white color, it's higher density and black is no density. So this way we are tell our plants where to go. And actually it's already kind of start looking somewhat interesting. I don't know if we needed even add any more stuff or fix. We could create additional elements in this or additional properties, like for example we can clumping for our plants, and it's work very well if you do with the grass or other things. or patching kind of different things. We also can go and make lean from low density, just slightly more. It just will create a little bit more distribution. I don't know if we want to do, but lean, you can see it's look very silly kind of. I don't think we want to do this. Okay, let's go click populate. We want the plants go straight. Clumping maybe will work very well. As well, we can work a little bit with density, maybe pop-up density if you want a little bit more plants around this area. Also, we can add bushes or other elements. Okay, let's go back just a little bit on the density, click populate, we'll click OK, and let's go click save our work. We'll take and bring camera slightly down, like maybe around this area. And let's go click render. So I just want preview from the top. What do we have? And you can see our golf course start kind of looking okay, because we have our greens, we have our plants around, our sandbank right around here. We maybe want to add some grass around our plants, because it's not everywhere. They're going with machine and more the grass, so maybe we want to do. And we also use a different techniques. If you look, we have it very sharp edges around our greens. We have it soft around sandbag, kind of very smooth going. And all of these elements you can easily control inside the Photoshop by working with our blending. So till it's rendering, let's look. For example, you remember we can right here, this is area gradient. It's what make the smoothness. So if we want to create those two elements a little bit smoother blend in, we can always going inside two of them. Okay, you know what? Control E. Well, let me duplicate them just in case I want it. I want to bring them as one, and I can go to filter, blur, add in blur, and we'll just add a little bit blur maybe on them, maybe around that area like this. Okay, and you know what, let's go do this day. Let's go just to file, save, we'll go back to TFF, and we have it our greens. Let's call greens blur. Okay, so we'll save it, and again this is 8-bit, so it will be maybe not as good a gradient. Okay, let's go back to ours. There's a preview. You can see it's look actually not bad. It looks somewhat interesting with the lights and shading. So our golf course coming very good. Okay, and nice things what we've done with those maps. If I want to change, I can always do my greens, maps, and remember we're using those maps. We'll just use it blur maps. Let's click OK, inverse them because we want to inverse. And now my edges on this will be smoother on those greens, so I can bring a little bit by coloring up, and you'll notice those edge blending will be nice. So this is good things, because when you work with this, it is and you find some mistakes, you can go fix those maps, reopen them, or if you actually save with same name, Vue will update them. So it's kind of nice about this, and use it inside. So I tell you about the creating this way, but we also can use it without maps. So in this example, right here we have our tree. Let me go ahead and save my work, and we have an ecosystem created. So let's create a new layer, and we'll call this eco grass. Okay. Well, ecosystem, and let's convert again to ecosystem layers. And I want to add item, and let's go add plant. And as a plant, actually we're going inside grasses. And inside grasses, let's find one that we can use it. I think let's go with a bunch of grasses. Maybe this one. We also have all these different ones, or maybe long grass. Okay, and just for fun, let's go to add another plant. We'll go to flowers, And you know what, let's just select some different flower. I just want to have a different type of the maybe bushes, and in the bushes we're going to select maybe crawling. Let's go, no, not dry bush. I don't know if a dry bush will look good there. We can go select blossom bush, just something else. So when you create these collections that you like, we can use the with affinity with layer. So it's meaning it will go around the plant. So if I pop up my affinity all the way high and click populate, what is happening, if you'll notice, it will populate just by the tree. So it does not necessarily need going and put it all over my area. So I don't need to create new density mask. I can work with the mask that already have it there. So this way it just create kind of elements. You know what, I don't like this bush, so I'm going to remove it. And you know what, let's remove flowers as well. It's look a little bit silly there. It just was more as effect. But again, I can populate, and you can see the grass right here on the elements. You can see the grass areas, it start populating a little bit bigger. So again, we don't want to use it inside area like sandbag. So let's look on this. If I do reduce my affinity, which is okay, I click populate, they will spread a little bit more around. But the problem is right now, if I use these techniques, grass pop up in some other places where it may be kind of okay if you going towards this, but my main problem is a sandbag. I don't want to create this, so I'll increase affinity up, and now we can go inside the density, variable density. We'll go to edit function for this as well, and you know what, let's go click right there. We'll go same, we'll just add project texture. Let's add one, and we're going to do standard, and right here we have our sand. So I'll go select sand and be sure this one is actually set to the object parametric as well. Okay, and we'll go select these to our density. At this time, if we click populate, you'll notice where it's going to populate. It will be just around sand area. I don't necessarily want this. Remember, I want opposite. I want populate everywhere except sand. So all what I need to do, it is inverse my mask. And now if I'm going, let's go pop up our density so we can see a little bit better. If I click populate, the my grass will populate with affinity with all layers around areas, and on the sand areas it won't be. You can see right here it's clear. You can see right there our sand areas. Now it's look clear, so it's look more what kind of I want to do. So let's go ahead, click OK, save it our work, and let's render preview. So I want to ignore the one thing, even we remove flower, it still pop up sometimes because of luminosity. To do this, you want to go actually file, purge memory, so it will remove cache of the preloaded plants before from our memory, and now we can go in render. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, you can see it's render. We have it, our tall grasses kind of built around. Maybe affinity was a little bit too tall. We can play a little bit more with this grass, but overall right here we have the grass where people does not cut it, and we have a little bit more in other areas, and probably it's what will happen. So we'll have the grass, the machine or something going around. By the sand we don't have grass because we don't want it there in those areas. And I think it's kind of, we can play a little bit more maybe with some grass positioning there, you know, maybe just make lean out actually work very well for this, and reduce some affinity so it's spread just a little bit more out. As well, for the grass we can always just add a little bit more variations on the sizes as well. Okay, so render is completed, and we can preview. You can see nice position the grass again about sand area where I don't want the grass, and we remove it even with small. Okay, let's go ahead back and look on our materials. Okay, this is our ecosystem, our grass. Same things, we can add rocks if you wanted to add to the edges. So we can play a little bit more with other elements if you want, like coastal rocks added, or other with the distribution we can do, or just simple by painting over. I think we're okay right now, except I want to reduce slightly on density. We want increase clamping on this, and we actually do want lean out a little bit more from those areas. Let's populate. That way it should create just a little bit more interesting, mostly on the edges. Right there you can see a bit more natural edges. Also with affinity, let's just drop a little bit down. So we'll have some small areas pop up on the grasses, and normally it's just right here. Okay. I think we're looking okay. Let's go ahead and work a little bit more on the touch-ups and renders in the next video.